dropped like yesterday or the day before. Like, oh yeah, new campaign out. We're like, ugh. So.
Spoiler, it was Saturday. Saturday was some troublemaker, but
awful. I wound up shutting it off like halfway through.
Give me an asshole, Craig. Huh?
Yeah, you're gonna do it again? Craig, you gonna do it again?
Don't be an asshole, Craig.
Let's
take a
see,
drink.
Craig.
Calm down.
You can take a drink, Craig, but don't get drunk. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Retro Rents Retro Gaming Podcast. This is episode 76, and I am Al.
And I'm Nick.
Oh my god, man. Oh my god. What a month it has been. I know. I had said we were going to get back to our normal cadence. Once again, more life came up, and it was just crazy, but thankfully things are now slowly starting to settle down. Slowly. In italics. Yeah. Before we go down that road, what have you been up to, Nick?
Well, just like basically, I've been playing kind of a backlog of Xbox or game. I should say Xbox, but Game Pass games really. Again, we'll get to it later with the E3 list. You know, just incredible. Like again, you know, I feel like Microsoft should be paying us every time we talk about it. Give us a nickel. Come on.
Well, technically, they do pay me. But that's for my day job.
There you go. But yeah, just the list has been incredible in terms of what they're continually adding and just what's on there these days.
Can't beat it.
I know. I think I don't know. Did I up these from last time? Yeah, I think I talked about this last time.
Yeah, you talked about all three. I remember talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Because I forgot to update my notes here. Oh my god, we're so professional.
It's all right. You've been keeping all the E3 notes while I've been distracted.
What I have been playing this week has been Iron Harvest.
Ooh, how is that?
That is a lot of fun. I played. I'm pretty sure I played it back at PAX 2020. I'm pretty sure they had a booth there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like we played that.
Yeah, and I was like going through the list. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's like, oh, Iron Harvest. Oh,
that's like that alternate history thing, right?
Yeah, it's basically it's a World War I alternate history, except it's steampunk mechs. Essentially. Yeah. It's super fun. I'm going through the campaign. And the missions are I say hard, but they're you have to be methodical. In like the traditional RTS, like more or less, like once you get to a certain tipping point with your resources and whatnot, you just you end up building like the largest army ever and just steamroll the enemy. This one they kind of lock everything in a little bit because you basically have a unit count. I say unit count, but troop count limiter. Right. It's, each unit costs certain number of troops. So like the largest mech you can make costs like 7, or you can just pop out some regular troopers and they're just 1.
Right. So you can't just like swarm.
Exactly. So you have to balance everything, and the maps are big enough that like one map. It was so fun. It was you basically got to control a rail gun train.
Ooh.
And you had these tracks like literally going everywhere. And I didn't know what to expect because I'm used to like other RTSs where like you're protecting something like a train or something. It'll simply go to these checkpoints automatically once you like defeat a certain checkpoint or whatever.
Yeah.
And you basically have no control. It's like, oh, whoop-de-doo. No, you had like I can make it go forwards, backwards. I can deploy the gun. Use it to actually support my troops. I still had to like protect it as part of this thing, but it was actually a whole lot of fun, and it took me about 2 hours to do the whole thing.
Wow.
And it wasn't I wouldn't say it was a slog. Like it never felt like just like why won't this game in? It was just more like wow, that was like because it was actually laid out very methodically in terms of like not only storytelling but just kind of like mechanically of how you kind of initially were scouting with the train, and then eventually you start building a base with the train. Then you have to take a bridge and then get across the bridge and take out the enemy stronghold. So it ends up being a whole lot of fun, and the story is actually pretty decent for an RTS. I mean, the graphics aren't anything to write home about, but I would say absolutely worth the download from Game Pass. They do have 2 DLCs that you'd have to pay for, and I'm very half tempted to pick those up because apparently those have campaigns in them too, and it has multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
But I'm I'm not too worried about that. Like I'm enjoying just these campaigns, and you would think oh, it's like these campaigns are really short because it's only I think ultimately I've played for the one campaign, and I think there's 3 in the main game. I think there was 4 or 5 maps. But again, you're spending so much time on this map actually doing different things as part of that it feels like a much, much longer game. And
oh, that's cool.
It's really well thought out versus other RTS where, again, it's just most of the time it's just try to steamroll the computer without it, try to get around it cheating and whatnot. Whereas this one, it's it feels like it's intelligently laid out, like the bridge part. Without getting too spoiler, every time I tried to cross the bridge, it almost tried to counter me and would start choke pointing, on this bridge.
Oh,
and
cool.
The AI was reacting to me to, sending troops across. So it actually took me a little bit to get across, secure the foothold, and then, keep moving. But it felt natural. It wasn't oh, the enemy's just, outpacing me for some, whatever reason. It actually felt logical with what it was doing. So
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, oh, hell, as far as me, thanks to some of the streamers I watched, I realized in September, Owlcat Games is releasing the sequel to Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. So I started playing through Pathfinder Kingmaker again. And its initial release, I would say, was kind of buggy. Other stuff came out, but I do remember really enjoying it, just never completing it. So I was like, all right, I've got 3 months. I'm gonna beat this game. So I've been playing this a ton. Started over from the beginning, generated my own main character, and there's a lot of great NPCs. Again, it's very similar if you've played Baldur's Gate, Pillars of Eternity. It's that same kind of 2D, isometric, but absolutely gorgeous version of that interface. And just the world is beautiful, methodically made. And what makes it really unique and a whole lot of fun is they really pull on the Kingmaker subsetting for Pathfinder, which deals with running a kingdom. So, the game starts out, and you're, just one of the mercenaries that are summoned by this leader. She's known as a sword lord of this realm called the Stolen Lands. She doesn't lead it, but she's, on the outskirts in this main city. And you're basically with a bunch of people, and you're all tasked with bringing down this bandit king called the Stag Lord. And whoever does gets to take over the lands, and rule the quote-unquote lands as Baron. And that's the start of your kingdom. So the first chapter, the prologue in the first chapter is what I would call your traditional RPG. And that's a good maybe 5-6 hours, right? Maybe more, if you want to be real completionist. And then chapter 2 is you complete that quest, and there's a ton of ways to go about it. And alignment's super, super important. You're not just picking lawful whatever and forgetting about it. Every choice you make will subtly impact your alignment as the game goes on. And that will determine, when you get to chapter 2, you're going to start ruling a kingdom. And the companions that you have will make a pretty big impact because they become your advisors. And you're running a kingdom at this point. You assign them to, chancellor or high priest or whatever. And then there's a city building aspect where you're, building buildings that'll up your kingdom stats. And then you're dealing with running a kingdom. People will petition you, something's going on, and it's something that you can send an advisor to investigate, but then they're unavailable for 14 days. Well, during that 14 days, you might go investigate another thing that you can actually investigate personally, and it becomes an expedition that then becomes, again, your traditional D&D, going on an adventure, doing the thing or whatever. And it's super, super well done. I mean, all the updates they've done to it, one of my favorite being that they, just like Pillars of Eternity, released kind of a 2.0, and it made it turn-based if you want it. With the click of a button, you can turn the combat from real-time, which was always kind of my complaint with Baldur's Gate. I was never a huge fan with it. You can hit a button, and then each character can take their turn in turn, like D&D or Pathfinder. You know, you have your move actions, and based on your stats, you can move a certain distance, and then you can do whatever skills, spells, or attacks you're able to do. And it just brings back that tabletop experience that I've always loved in computer games, and this game just does it really, really well. So you throw in, it's got, just all the good trimmings and graphics. The soundtrack's wonderful. I actually wound up grabbing it on Spotify, or one of the services. I have to be sure I know where I'm getting it from, but I have it. and just the writing is really, really good. Like, I'm really invested in this story, and I'm building up my kingdom, and I want to see this through. So I've primarily been playing that kind of, like, I get some, like, between time from when the kids go to bed to when, like, I go hang out with my wife in the living room. We'll either watch a movie or just, chat and chill, and I'll play something on the Xbox, and, we'll hang out. So that's what I've been playing then. And then during that time, like, if we're kind of just chilling or doing stuff around the house, and I'll sit and play some Xbox after a while for a bit. I've been playing the new release this week, Scarlet Nexus.
Yes.
Yeah, let me tell you what. Again, I get very hesitant to get into JRPGs. Because I love them dearly. I did as I was younger, I'll say that. Now, it depends on the grindy, it depends on this. But the reason being, like, it depends. Some of them can have very hit or miss stories. To keep me invested. Like, I gotta be grinding for a reason. And this one is really freaking good. At least to me so far. Like, I've really been enjoying it. It's kind of told like an anime, manga, like, animated comic book scenes, kind of like in the cutscenes and stuff. The combat is super fun. Speaking of the lady. Just gonna silence that and censor it when I edit. But yeah, it's pretty solid. Really, really digging it. The combat, like I said, is just really fun. It's like a cyberpunk setting, and there's this whole brain link thing that they do where you're kind of linking your powers with your party, and like you can borrow their powers because you can't control them, but you can borrow their powers for yourself and use them. So, like, I have one party member who can speed you up so fast, it's as if the time is slowed down, quote unquote. And then you can use that for enemies that move super fast, so that you can go beat the shit out of them and, like, hit them pretty easily. So there's a lot of strategy involved, which I'm really digging. Mm-hmm. And it's not turn based, like it's like live button mashing combat, but it's done well. So I've been playing that for most of the week. I was actually just on a vacation, and I got another one coming up this week, which is lovely. But yeah, I just got back from the beach with the family, and I wound up playing that down there. One of my wife's childhood friends came to hang out with us for a night or two, and we wound up like staying up late as hell playing it. Like, I was really, really digging it. But yeah, Scarlet Nexus, totally worth a grab. And Pathfinder Kingmaker, like, seriously, if you dig those kind of RPGs like Baldur's Gate, Pillars of Eternity, all that stuff, definitely jump on Pathfinder Kingmaker before the sequel comes out, because I'm sure the sequel is going to be awesome too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing, what I've been playing. Like I said, I just got back from the beach and then had a hellish week of work. I'm beyond exhausted fighting tire fires, and I'm just really looking forward to at least having another kind of laid back week, even though I'll still be kind of coordinating tire firefights. But I should.
Isn't that always the case when you go on vacation? You come back and just like the workload is huge.
Well, in my case, it's a major launch happened this week. I posted about that, and I've taken over the post-release support for that. And yeah, I'm tired. But yeah, no, all is good, man. All is good on that front, and it's cool. Like, we're kind of moving to like a summer hours thing. Like, we got the week off next week, like the entire company, even though I'll still kind of be working a little bit. And then after that week, we have Fridays off till the end of August. Like, I can't
nice.
bitch. Can't bitch. It's good stuff. So, yeah, like, life is good. Been really busy. But yeah, all right. So that's what we've been playing. I know we normally... All right, we'll do release highlights really quick, because Nick and I have got something super, super cool to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to news. So yeah, just some release highlights that I wanted to point out that Nick hasn't already mentioned. As I mentioned, Scarlet Nexus is out. It's definitely worth a grab. Go check that out. The update I just caught before we started recording that might actually make me check this out again is Greedfall just got a free PS5/Xbox Series XS upgrade, and it's available on Game Pass. Like, you can grab it and play the updated version with all the blinky lighty effects and the, updated director's version or whatever the hell they're calling it. So I might give that one another try. I know you played that, Nick. How far did you get into that?
I actually never got around to playing it. It's been on my list. Like, I know it's been on the Game Pass. I just haven't got around to actually playing it.
Well, it might be a good time to check it out. Like I said,
Indeed.
They just released a big update this week. So I'm going to give it a look. If you remember from our last episode, I was talking about a VR game that I played with Hoodie Ninja and some of his pals called Demio.
Right, yeah.
Which very much reminded me of VR Hero Quest. And we had played through the first campaign, had an absolute blast. It was a total good time, tons of fun. And we were like, all right, well, we'll get together whenever they release a second campaign. And based on what we read, like, we weren't expecting it until sometime in August. And they just dropped, like, yesterday or the day before, like, oh yeah, new campaign out. We're like, bleh. So we might be getting together either this weekend or next to play demio again. So keep an eye out on Hoodie Ninja's channel.
Will do.
And yeah, I mean, if you're not busy, depending on when we play, you're welcome to join us. I think we can play up to 4 players. And yeah, I'm telling you, it's you'll be like so mind blown at how amazingly good this game is and how polished it is. And it's just a great VR experience. If you like, again, a very tabletop style Hero Quest experience, like literally grabbing your character and placing them on the board and rolling dice, like, it's so fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But yes. Let us move on to the big item of the evening. So Nick and I had the wonderful privilege this past Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday.
Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
It was Saturday night. It was. I mean, the LockdownCon was all weekend, but we were there Saturday night.
So, as you all might remember, our magnum opus, our interview with Neil Halford, the great and powerful Neil Halford, he reached out to us. I think we had mentioned it on a previous episode, and invited us to be on a panel at this convention he did last year. They were doing a part 2 this year called LockdownCon, and he invited us to be a part of a panel called Heroes at the Mic. And that happened last Saturday. Literally after I had got done driving 5.5 hours from the beach with my family. I'm surprised I was in as good a shape as I was.
I was surprised you were holding it together as well.
Oh, boy. But I got to tell you, I mean, how fun was that, dude?
Oh, man. So insightful, and I wish there was more time.
Yeah, I have to say that the panel that joined us, Goldie Thoughts on Twitter, she's doing some amazing stuff, and I've been having a lot of fun watching her do kind of a live stream playthrough of Betrayal at Krondor. And it's amazing because, like, I know my Krondor super fans, and Goldie Thoughts is a damn super fan. Like, it's just fun sitting on the stream and, like, I'm like, oh yeah, here comes this little fun known fact. I wonder. She's like, and fun little fact. Like, she really, like, she knows the game really well, and she's just fun
Nice.
to watch. It was really fun to listen to her kind of like the whole point of the panel was talking kind of about our journey as podcasters, and part of it's like what stuff do you use and all that, but it was more like kind of what got us into this and what we're about. And it was fun learning some more about goalie thoughts. And then Steve, was it I'm so sorry if I get this wrong, and I should have gotten it right before him. It was like The Realm Within was his cast.
I think
and
so, yeah.
he just does like amazing deep dives in like history and stuff, and just he's a question asker, storyteller. I forget how he phrased it, but like I just want to sit and talk to this guy for 5 hours because like I guess him and Neil go way back, but like he was just a font of like deep knowledge, and just it was really entertaining to hear him talk kind of about his journey and like his
Steve
podcasting.
Garriott, Within the Realm.
Steve Garriott, Within the Realm. Thank you. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's a great cast. Check him out. He was a riot. I liked him a lot. And then I have to say the other partners on the panel, I could not get enough of these two. The Nerd Couple. The Nerd Couple podcast.
Yeah, Jen and John Curtis, or Jen Page and John Curtis.
Jen Page, John Curtis.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. They were a riot.
Yeah. Absolute hoot to listen to. And very insightful too.
Oh, totally. Totally. Though I will say they were critically wrong on one factoid.
What was that?
They brought up they did a podcast Thunderdome, Nerd Dome.
Yes. Yes.
On 1980, was it 1984 versus 1982, or was it just?
I think it was 84. Yeah, I think
it was just 1984 in movie releases, right?
Yeah, I think it was like just within the 80s overall.
Yeah,
it was within the decade of 80s. Which year was the best year for nerddom, essentially, in terms of movie releases, at least?
Yeah, and their Nerd Thunderdome said 1984. And yes, I will say, 1984 has an incredible slate of movies. However, Neil brought up 1982 during the panel, and I'm looking at the list of these, and I'm like, oh, God, it's such a tight race, but the Harryhausen in me just kind of started leaning towards 82.
Like, yeah, I gotta lean the same way. Like, 82 had so many good things. I mean, chief of which, biggest Star Trek fan. Come on, Wrath of Khan. Come on,
dude, come on. But I have to say, they were super fun. I've started like going through some of their backlog, and it was like I was telling my wife, I was like, watching these two, and they're actually the ones that I think, based on the suggestions they had on what they use in their equipment, I'm seriously thinking about as we start kind of kicking this in fresh into a more steady cadence, bringing us into a live element again and actually doing that regularly. Mm-hmm. Just because like seeing the StreamYard thing that they were using and how easy that is to set things up. I think I'm going to look into that more before our next episode, so don't be surprised if the next time you see us, it's live, we're on video, and interacting with y'all. I think we're really excited to do that. We've done that once or twice, and it was super cool. But I just think now that I'm in a more of a position to do this on a bit more of a steady basis, I'm definitely gonna check that out. But anyway, I've been going through.
We'll probably still throw up the recordings for those of you that can't make.
Oh no, I will always. I will say with the caveat.
Not to fear, listeners.
Not to fear. Yeah, not to fear. No, I will always. Again, do the edits and provide an audio version of the cast, simply because like I always listen to podcasts in my car. I didn't really ever care about the video, and I know there's plenty of people like me, so we'll always continue to do that. But I was telling my wife, I was like, babe, I'm watching these two, and it's like looking in a mirror. I'm like, it's us. Like, you are her, I am John. You said his name was John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, it's so funny just watching the two of them interact. Like at one point, like, Jen was saying something, and then like John's there, and she's like, "I'm talking, damn you!" And I'm like, "Dude, that's us." But no, it was I like if you couldn't tell just based on our conversation, we had so much fun hanging with the panelists, and again, it just gave us another chance to hang and chat with Neil, which to me is like stolen gold hours, man. It was just a good time, and the overall convention, I have to say, was just awesome.
Oh yeah, like I was tuning in like almost all of Saturday, just like, have it on the background. I was doing some things during the day, and they had a Star Trek panel.
That Trek panel was pretty good.
Like that, yeah, that was fantastic because I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, a bunch of writers or at least people associated with the production of Star Trek. I think.
Yeah, that was the impression I caught.
And and then they had several other things. The Beyond the Sky and Below the Sea was really fascinating with the basically the NASA Science Lab, but I can't remember his name, but I think both of them actually worked at NASA, and then one was from the Ocean Institute. So it was talking about like exploration both within space and then under the sea. It reminded me of funny enough, I was watching the James Cameron documentary on his Challenger deep dive a day or two earlier, and it's like, wow, how coincidental.
Yeah, and I have to say, in that note, your name came up a few times in this panel, Mr. Richard Garriott. Just saying, we still got to have you on here, and especially now that you went to the bottom of the ocean.
That's true.
I want to hear this story. Yeah, I got to reach out to him again. I'm hoping things have calmed down enough for him, and that he doesn't have the bends or anything, and we can actually talk about his amazing, excellent journey. That aside, I mean, the convention was great. Neil really, I can only imagine the labor of love it is to put one of these on, but it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to him. I mean, like I think he said, I don't know if he didn't have AC or he shut it off to reduce sound.
He's not his garage. He didn't have AC, or I think he might have shut it off. I think he said he shut it off.
Yeah, and he was like, it's getting up to 100 in here. I gotta take a break. He's like,
Jesus, Neil. Oh, and then I got curious. I wanted to see last year's LockdownCon. Like, he just gets the gifts, man. Did you see the video from last year's LockdownCon?
Yeah,
I know you've watched.
I think I watched a clip of it. I didn't watch the whole thing though.
I was gonna say, I know you watched the Lord of the Rings appendices as much as I have.
Oh yeah.
He had on Jed Brophy and Mark Hadlow.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, like Nori and Dory from The Hobbit, but like Jed Brophy has been involved with the production of Lord of the Rings since the first 3 movies. Like, and it's a great interview because I forget what movie he was doing at the time, but Jed Brophy is literally on camera in his mocap suit.
Just like between takes or something, huh?
Yeah, it was great. Like, I'm telling you, like, the amount of love that Neil and his wife Jonna put into LockdownCon, like, I'm still blown away that we're included. It's like, all right, I guess we mean something. But it was just awesome to be a part of these people that were on the panel with us. It just, like, I remember beforehand, like anything else, I get really nervous with stuff like that. But within, like, the first minute of Neil kicking it off, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be good, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, really good time. And I just want to say a big thank you to Neil, to Goldie Thoughts, to the nerd couple, to Steve. Like, it was so much fun to be on a panel with y'all and again, just chatting with everybody, hanging with Neil. I swear I could do that. I could do that every week. I'm sure Neil couldn't with the convention play. But no, it was an honor and a privilege, and I'm just really happy we got to be a part.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thank you.
Yeah, check out LockdownCon on Twitter. And Lockdown, I think it's just LockdownCon.com. If you weren't able to catch it live, that's fine. It was recorded. LockdownCon.com. You can see the updates and the flashbacks and all the videos. Like, it's so worth just going and watching these panels. They were great, and I hope y'all enjoy them. And if you have even as half the fun that Nick and I did, you're in for a good night. But yeah, so that's our LockdownCon news. more news with Uncle Neil was great. And this next one I'm giving to you, dude, because I'll be honest, the only thing I was really able to focus on the last month was E3. You have definitely been more in the trenches, so let's hand it over to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, this entire next list is basically encompassing what we can call E3 of 2021. Some of it was like ancillary stuff around E3, and some of it was in E3 specifically. I'm just gonna be going through a lot of list of games. I might actually drop a few that I don't recall anymore, but basically I was watching the various streams, because again, for those who may not know, E3 was still held virtually, much like
it was virtual this year.
Yeah, except I couldn't remember at first, like, how did E3 happen last year? Because I know it was virtual, but I looked it up again. It was spread out over like almost an entire month. I think it
was a long E3. You're right.
Yeah. It was basically like every week was kind of like another, like Xbox did one week, Nintendo did another week.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I think PC did another. So it was very, very spread out. I was like, how did it didn't feel the same. And like this time, they smashed everything in. It was almost like as if it was on the floor, but I think even more compressed, because it was suddenly they were vying for your attention in terms of just smashing all these games into a show of some sort.
And yet, and we'll get to this, and yet, with that format in mind, some of these still showed like way too much of nothing. We'll talk about that.
Man, yeah. We'll get. Spoiler alert. It was Saturday. Saturday was some troublemaker, but
that was awful. I wound up shutting it off halfway through.
It was bad. Like I was bored to tears by the end of it. But basically everything kind of started around Thursday. There was a Thursday preview. I forget what exactly it was called, but it was hosted by Jeff Keighley. He kind of did this whole kind of initial preview thing that I don't think it was technically part of E3, but it kind of quasi kicked it off.
Yeah, it kind of kicks it off a little bit.
There wasn't much out of it. And then I think the same day, I have it on the same day, I think.
No, but you put something here that has me curious, because I was talking to my buddy, his screen name anyway, Assassin. Mm-hmm. He and I are very keen. We're very keyed into Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Yeah.
And the last bit of news I heard from it was back in February when they canned the initial development team. Yeah, you have an item here. Was there any news on that?
So that's where I was confused, because I think I wrote it down quickly, but it kept as it developed. I think this is the one. It's either the one that's already out, or this is different than the other.
Oh, no. They showed something different.
Okay, so
you're right.
That's what this is, because what was it? It's like. It was Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, but I think the one where everyone got canned was a Vampire Masquerade something else.
It's Vampire Was it? Wait, is this it? Blood Hunt?
I have Bloodlines. No. I don't know. I'll have to look it up again.
Yeah, no, I'm looking this up now, because this is pretty important. Because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think it's Blood Hunt. Or Swan Song?
No.
Because there's two. I'm looking at two. There's Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song and Blood Hunt, both released 3 weeks ago. Hold on. I'm just going to do this real quickly, y'all. It looks like Blood Hunt was the one that was revealed at E3.
Okay. Maybe it was Blood Hunt. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is totally different. And so, barring a major miracle, unless they are just starting from scratch and it's going to be another year before we hear anything more, there was no mention of Bloodlines 2 at E3 that I caught. So whether or not it's still coming out, I'm leaning towards probably not, unfortunately, because I think there was a lot of push behind it from fans of the series. But we'll see. But there are some other Vampire the Masquerade games coming out. I know that some of the more popular ones lately have been like the visual novel ones that they did, and I played them, and they're fun. Like for if you like that kind of thing. But no, I'm looking more for I need another Bloodlines done right, and I don't think we're gonna get it. But That's not nearly as bad of news as what the Ubisoft thing was.
Yeah, that makes sense because it was some kind of vampire thing, but it wasn't the one that where everyone got canned type of thing. Yeah, it was like so. I wrote it down quick. I'm like, wait, what was this again? But the other thing to stand out from Thursday was an Evil Dead co-op.
Yes. Oh my God, that looked fun.
With Bruce Campbell in it and voice and advertising, like he
voice and likeness.
Yeah,
he was a part of it.
So this is kind of like I think it's the 4v1 style. Yep. So much like Predator and Daylight style, except you're playing various teens escaping from the Evil Dead, and I guess one of the characters can be Ash. You can play. I'm assuming.
Well, there was Ash. There was Henry from Army of Darkness.
You're right. Yeah, it kind of brought everything all together, didn't it?
Yeah. There was Henry the Red. There was, I think, the other knight. There was. Again, it looks like everybody in the Evil Dead movie series made an appearance. I was giddy.
It was like woo!
This looked so good. I can't wait to play it. Like, it had the Bruce one-liners. It had the evil Bruce, like the evil undead knight, like it was just
exactly. It's like all the great callbacks. Yeah, it's like okay, yeah, sign me up. Like
sign me up, dude. I'm all in on that one. I can't wait to play it. Like, that's gonna just be a good time.
Absolutely.
That was a good highlight for Thursday.
And then we I think that's when we got into Saturday. I think it did kick off with basically a segment called Wholesome Games, and they were very wholesome. Again, if you're looking for like more family friendly style games, like I would watch that segment again. There wasn't too much substance to it. It was just like very quick, like usually like title cards and maybe like 30 seconds of gameplay,
which I would say is what a lot of other people should have done in E3.
Yeah. Like I think some should. I would have liked to see a little more on like what do these games, but the ones I wrote down I think most of these were kind of like RPG-ish.
They look kind of cool, like Lego Builder's Journey. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That took me by surprise. Like,
I'm like, all right,
because it's very it looks like photorealistic Lego. So unlike the current Lego games, which are like the Skywalker Saga or Indiana Jones or
it's kind of cartoony, kind of.
Yeah, it has that cell shading, like you said, cartoony. This like it looks like real Legos, and it looks like a puzzle game, kind of where it's like you kind of like got to build and get pieces to move and whatnot. And I was actually intrigued by it. I kind of want to see more and like what is it, and can you actually like just is there like a creator mode in it? Because it actually looks a lot better for creating something. Than
like say like a Minecraft or something,
Well, Minecraft, or even like there's like a basic Lego building app out there that you can
Lego Worlds or something like that.
No, it's not even a game. It's just like it's a builder app in and of itself. So a lot of the my own creation or mock builders will use that to basically test build whatever they're doing and then actually collect pieces in real life. I'm wondering if you can actually do something like that in this. Now, they didn't advertise that, so it was just more of a question on my part. Because again, this I mean, as a game, it looked fantastic. Like again,
I was gonna say it looked really intriguing.
Style. So I kind of wanted to see more. Being a Lego fan, it's like this intrigues me.
This looked really cool because it's definitely like my kids are real into that. I'm into it too, but like I could see my kids having a blast with that and like something we could play together. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. And it's either out or it's coming very, very soon.
It is?
I think I saw it on Steam.
Really?
It's like imminent. I have to double check on that.
Lego Builder's Journey. I think it just came out.
Was it just this week, right? I think.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm just looking at the top 3 reviews right now. A beautiful brick-based puzzle game. Lego Builder's Journey review, Bricking Beautiful. Wow. Okay, gonna go buy that when we're done. I thought that was a ways off yet, based on what they didn't show.
No, it was like that was the thing. It was very, very simple, nothing super complicated to it, and it just like it came out of nowhere. I didn't even know this thing was being made, but it's like at first I saw like, wait, is that Lego? And then it's like, is this actually official Lego? And it's like at the very end, it had the Lego title card. I'm like,
publisher, the Lego Group,
yeah,
and it's on Switch, Windows, and iOS and Mac OS.
Yeah,
dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it even has like, I remember seeing, I think for the Windows, it has RTX capability. So it's like, man, I mean, they went all, it's, like, again, it's that photorealism look to it. So I'm thinking the RTX, helps with that. But it was like, wow, okay.
Wow, I might have to get this for the kids. I mean, me.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yes. No, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, let's get to Snooze Fest number one.
And then, yeah, so again, like it wasn't much. It was like, okay, we'll see. And the first big, thing was Ubisoft. Was the big, I say highlight on Saturday. Although there was one more, but we'll get to that. But,
I'd call it everything not to do.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was like the worst thing to watch, and we watched it live on Saturday.
Yeah, that was rough.
Oh my goodness, it was just like, oh, wake me up when it's over.
It was bad. Like again, you have it right. Although I would call it out slightly differently. Nick puts it down as 8 games. Only one had any interest to know more. And really, the only interest I have in that one is a question, which we'll get to. I literally forgot. I forgot everything else they showed except for this one. And the chat in Nick's stream said it all. Like, they revealed Avatar Frontiers of Pandora coming in 2022. Myself and pretty much everyone in Nick's stream was like, WTF? People still give a shit about Avatar?
Well, as I looked into it, apparently the movie is also coming out at the end of 2022. So
I've heard that before.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. It's that's the supposed schedule. So it looks to be probably a movie tie-in. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. I mean, like I'll probably watch the movie. I enjoyed the first one. I'll probably watch the second because I know. Speaking of Cameron, he went to the Challenger Deep and he apparently took footage for.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Avatar 2. So it's like I'll watch it. It's not like I won't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna not watch it.
But
it's just one of those like.
It's like are we supposed to be hyped for this? Because I'm really not hyped.
Like we haven't seen shit about the movie. Like
it's like
there hasn't been a single squirt of like anything from that movie. From like, oh hey, Avatar is coming out in like a year. No, there's been nothing. And then we see this game coming out and everybody in the channel's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, really?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, was it? It came out. Yeah, it came out in 2009. So it's been 12 years now since the movie came out, and it's just like it's not it's not blowing things away. It's not like Star Wars.
I was supple and young when that movie came out.
It's like. I don't get the craze. Like we were talking about in chat. It's like I don't get the craze for it because I mean, there's like the Disneyland. Disney did a thing with it. I mean, I guess they still have a park section for it. But of course, well, the kicker to me is like they not abandon it, but like as soon as they got, they were going to make a huge like Avatar land. It was going to be this next big thing, and then as soon as they got the Star Wars license. Boom! Everything pivoted to Star Wars.
Pandora.
Like, forget Pandora. Like, it's obviously it's still there. I think it's like part of the animal kingdom. So it's like
I hear you can get breakfast there somewhere.
Yeah, it's like a clever tie into the animal aspects. Like, I get that, but it's like, what are you doing with this? Like, what is this?
and to me, it's like now it's the race. It's the great race. It's the cannonball run. Who's gonna finish their series before they die? George R.R. Martin. Or James Cameron.
Oh my goodness.
Who will live and who will die?
Oh my word.
So yeah, that like and I have to say, for the other 8 games or 7 games, what Ubisoft I think did really wrong. I don't know, like
just like everything from the presentation, like, and the thing is, like, throughout the rest of E3, every time one of these games, like, so Far Cry was one of the games they debuted, Far Cry 6, obviously, they're pushing the new one, but every time it showed up in every other segment, it always like kind of looked this like not next generation, look a generation old to like almost 2 generations old.
Yeah, and it was jumpy depth cuts.
Yeah. Definitely for like the rest of the stuff they showed. It's just like, oh my god, what is going on? Like the worst I thought of the sections was the Rainbow Six, formerly called Quarantine, now called Extraction. And yeah, it was just like, and it was indicative of like the entire thing where it was all what we dubbed a dev cameras. So basically, it's like these aren't natural in-game shots. It's not views from the players. It's like the devs have a camera and they've stuck it in the corner of a room. And it's like you get a great view of the room and what's going on. But it's like you have no idea how this actually plays. Like all you're seeing like people running in. Now it's like obviously if you've played Rainbow Six Siege, you know how it plays. Yeah, it's like I get that, but it's just like it's not for whatever reason the way it was put together, it was just not conveying it. Like I was
and
like,
then
I was
they
like
did
nonplussed.
that for like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, it went on forever on the same game. It's like, okay, I would have cut this short like by about at least half, if not more.
And
Spice
it's like,
it up a little bit. Come on.
I'm like, you have literally in your preview managed to bore the shit out of me with this game where it's like, this just looks like every other fucking shooter, and I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, it wasn't exclusive to us. Like I kind of like, is it just me? Is it just us? And it was like, no,
no.
Like the general consensus was it was boring.
Dude, everybody in your channel, it was just like Z's. Okay, next. Like, and I'll give you a hint, y'all. Like, if you haven't caught it by this podcast, we are the sunshiny optimism of the gaming world.
We are.
Like, Nick and I can find something good in anything and celebrate the shit out of it. This, like, I'm telling you, dude, like, I just walked away from that and I'm like, well, if I'm ever in a company that's doing a conference, I'm going to tell them exactly what not to do. Watch Ubisoft. And you brought up a hell of a point. They didn't even talk about their new play model.
Yeah, that was the kicker. It's like going into it, I think I had mentioned like what I was hoping to see or expecting to see prior to, and that was one of the things. Like I thought they're going to talk about like this new play model that we talked about, and they talked about like they released it, I don't know, 2-3 months ago now. Like they're going to a free to play model. It's going to be around like Homefront / Division, or it's going to be called Homefront, but it's around the Division, Division 2 world. But they nothing at Zippo on it. It's like, really? Like this is supposed to be your next big thing and you're not even talking about it? Like it's got to be years off if that's the case.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's either years off or they just said, fuck it, we can't compete with Game Pass. And they're right. Look, EA even just threw their fucking hat in and said, you know what? We're going to jump on the Game Pass trade and you can have some of our shit.
Come on.
Like, just stop.
It was bad. Now, Devolver Digital, obviously they're more on, I'd say on the indie side of things.
I love them so much.
Like totally wacky, had, chili cheese dogs everywhere.
I love them so much. Like, no matter what, you're always going to be entertained during a Devolver Digital.
Oh yeah, and ultimately they were the winners of Saturday. At least it's like they at least had some interesting titles. I called out 3 Trek to Yomi, which I think was kind of like almost like a Ghost of Tsushima style.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
Fan of Abyss. I have to look that up again. I wrote it down. Apparently it's coming soon. I think. Let me look at it.
No, apparently it's out already. Phantom Abyss.
Yeah, what was Phantom Abyss?
No, you said June of 22. I thought it was June 22nd. Never mind.
That's what this was. This was interesting. It was kind of like an Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
That
running
cool.
Style thing, and you could compete against either yourself or other players and see them as like ghosts or whatever. And it's just like, how far can you make it into like the trap filled, dungeon, whatever. That actually looked pretty cool.
Oh, and it's already out. It's out in early access.
Okay. So it was, yeah. So yeah, I think if I put June, if I put like a month and a day, I think that's the date. So yeah, I think it came out, 2 weeks ago now.
Oh, wow. And it's got a 9 of 10 on Steam on about 1,000 reviews.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have to play this one really soon. This looks
it
really
looked pretty
fun.
Good.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll have to play that.
And then the last one I marked down was called A Death's Door. Let me bring this up real quick and try and remember. I think this is an RPG. What is this? Steve, bring it up.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Isometric style. It just kind of looked like it was very neat art style to it. Isometric style, I think RPG adventure. It just looked interesting for whatever reason.
So. Oh, and this is already out too.
Coming in 2 weeks, July 20th.
Oh, I thought it said June 20th. Never mind. Al can't read.
So companies that I'll give Devolver Digital, like, I think most of the things they showed were actually very, very like coming imminently, or at least within the year,
and relatively intriguing.
Yeah. Again, it was like, okay, it at least made the radar. I'd like to see a little more on it, but it's like, okay, looked interesting enough. And again, that's why they kind of won, the Saturday, because again, a lot of the stuff was like, for the most part, coming out this year or very imminent. All of Ubisoft stuff, I don't think it's even coming out this year.
No, it wasn't, and it was just like, oh, dude, you guys should have just stayed home.
Yeah, it was like it was bad. Like bad. No teases. It's like I have no problem. Like again, the Avatar was enough of a tease. Like, oh, that looks interesting. I'd like to know more. All right. Color me interested. It's made the radar, but it's like, come on, Ubisoft.
Yeah. And like you have Gearbox next, I would say. I would totally agree. Tribes of Midgard, I've been following for a while.
Oh yeah, in terms of Gearbox, it wasn't anything to write home about. They were kind of debuting stuff from the Borderlands set. I'm kind of early dubbing it as like Jumanji in space probably is
yeah.
I'll probably watch it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm getting that kind of a vibe out of it.
I'm hoping it's like Sahara style fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping for.
Give me cheese, give me fun. I'm all on board.
Yeah, like I'm all on board with that. Again, for the most part, nothing really out of Gearbox, but Tribes of Midgard was originally kind of like their own indie thing. I've been following him about 4 or 5 years since I saw him back in PAX. I think it was PAX East about 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, really?
But they got to, they're using Gearbox. Gearbox is acting as a publisher for them, which I think is great. It's fantastic. But yeah, heavily looking forward. This is coming out at the end of the month, July 27th.
Which means it'll be on Game Pass.
Will it?
Aren't Gearbox part of Xbox? Or maybe not.
Yeah, well, their games might be on there, but I don't know if it'll necessarily.
Oh, I know Gearbox is like Gears of Wars, right? And
no, wait, no. Gears of War is it's like it's not Epic. It's the Cliff Bleszinski.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. That's two different things. My bad, people. Don't listen to me.
I mean, Gearbox stuff may end up on. You wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's a day one thing. I'm going to be picking it right via Steam myself. But
I'll be grabbing that because I've been following. I was following that one pretty intensely, like you said, about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. I kind of forgot about it. So
the beta's on and off. It's coming out. But yeah, it's looking fantastic. Like just to see this game grow over time from like you had this little shabby village and they only had like one giant to now it's like they have all sorts of giants from the the North mythos.
It looks dope.
And like you could really upgrade your village now, and it's like, oh man, it's come such a long way, and I think you can have up to 8 people in your party at a time. It's all co-op too, so it's not a versus thing, so it's like just get everyone together.
It looks great.
Save your village. It's definitely one you keep a lookout for.
Yeah, for sure. And then we get to the big winner.
And we get to the Sunday, and I think all of E3 winner, a huge mega winner.
They're killing it. You know what? You can talk. I have a PlayStation 5. I love my PlayStation ecosystem. But at this point in the generation war, we'll just say Microsoft is coming out fucking swinging.
Oh, hands down. Now, obviously, they're also kind of sucking everything up because they had Bethesda, obviously Microsoft itself, and /Xbox. So it's
they learned they
had a lot to show.
We did Crackdown 3. Didn't work so well. Let's buy these motherfuckers.
Let's buy them all.
Yeah, dude. No,
it's gonna be like EA. Don't crap on a good thing here. Come
on. Yeah. So many highlights. Let's just go to some of the big ones. Starfield trailer looks great. No gameplay, but they did confirm it is an exclusive. I think you and I called this months ago.
Yep.
I knew when they bought Bethesda, there was no way, no way in hell or shitwater that it wasn't going to be an exclusive. Stalker 2. I'm so on board for that.
Like it looks sharp and
beautiful.
I played a little bit of Stalker Water, and it's a rough game to play.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to play the old one, but I do remember playing that when it came out new, and it was a little rough then. Let's be fair.
Yeah. But it's an older game, so I'll give it that. This though looked really visually stunning. Had that Metro Exodus visual feel to it. Very much that visual storytelling. So I'm eager to see how ultimately is this going to play. Is it going to, because if I remember correctly, Stalker 1 was a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of reading. And I think that's part of what made it very clunky, because you'd be like, it's like you have to spend, reading paragraphs, and like the enemies are bearing down on you. Whereas this, it seems like they're kind of, again, I'm using Metro X as an example, where they have that visual storytelling style where you're just, not necessarily along for the ride, but it's like, the characters will talk to you and kind of help with that exposition. I'm eager to see where this goes, because Stalker was very much open world. Metro Exodus, started open world, but then it got very railroaded. So I'm eager to see, will this kind of be more open world, kind of like a Skyrim style, where it's like kind of roam around, do what you want, or is it going to be railroad style, Metro Exodus storytelling style?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely watching that one real closely. Back for Blood, I think we're both all in on this one. Left 4 Dead, it's same creators. Those games are super fun. This has a PvP component now. Let's bring it. I think they were obviously like kind of the fathers of the 4v1, or we'll say 4 creators. Because I'll be straight up, like that. It looks great. I can't wait to see how good that is. Just going down the list, I want to play Sea of Thieves with you again soon.
Oh my god! So this was the highlight for me, because it was like, okay, we kind of figured Sea of Thieves would do something, because they've been, as what they do everything, they tease the next story component they like to put into the game. So they had been putting like these building piles at all the outposts. So it's like, okay, the players kind of knew something was coming, and it was coming up on the next season. So it was like, okay, maybe they'll talk about it. And it kicked off, and it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna, okay, this is gonna be the new content. And again, you could watch my reaction on it, and it goes from like,
why is the room always gone?
Like, I'm losing my freaking mind here. because not in a million years did any of us see this coming. It was always like one of those, like, oh, we're playing the game, we're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney did a thing with it, but like, no way Disney would go for that.
It's the perfect game for it.
And it absolutely is. And like, kudos for them. For this, like, didn't leak. No one saw this.
Nobody saw this coming, dude.
Like content creators, the insiders, no one saw this coming until that trailer dropped, and everyone's losing their freaking minds. And it's like, no way. And it plays absolutely fantastic. I've gotten, so there's basically 5 chapters to it. I've gotten through about 4 of them right now, and each one absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's, without getting too spoilery, one of them is literally you're walking around the town in the ride. Oh
my god.
And you see like the river like going through, and there's pirates like rowboating as if they're the riders,
Dude sitting up on the deck, fucking hanging with his beers. Oh
yeah. And you like, it's like, you can hear and they have the music, they have the sound. It's like, dead man tell no tales, and it's just like as if you're in the theme park ride. And then also there's tons of tips of the hat to actual like scenes from the movie themselves. So like, Davy Jones and Jack Sparrow and all this, and it's so well put together. It's like, wow.
So
Rare knocked that out of the park.
Can I play that solo, or do we have to at least partner?
You could play it solo. It's probably better with a group, but if you want, you can roll in solo. And the first chapter is, and that's the other thing. Part of it is instant, so you actually can go in by yourself without being disturbed by other players. And like chapter 1, 3, and I think 5 are basically all instance. Chapter 2 is quasi instance. We didn't run into any players ourselves, more or less, when we did it. But if people like follow, like piggyback, they can kind of follow you into these like chambers or whatever. But yeah, like more or less. And then that was the thing. Like I was wondering going into it, is like, because Disney would probably want a very curated, experience, and they actually do give that to you. So like, it's actually very appreciative, because it allows you to just enjoy the story that's being
told.
I'm
so stoked to play this.
Like, yeah, like hands down. It's like we gotta pick a night, do some.
Okay, I was gonna say, so if I party up with you, you can go through it again, right?
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. I would love going through it again. Like I'll relive it through, live it vicariously through.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited
for the first time.
I'm like, again, to give people context, Nick and I we went to the theaters, I think, to see pretty much all of them except for like the latter movies.
Yeah, like 4 or 5. It was basically
like
the first
4 or
3.
5. Like we saw the first 3, and I remember, when we went and saw the first one, I think you had already had the soundtrack, and we were just we're like just driving to the theater, blasting the soundtrack in that big ass car you used to drive. Was it a Lincoln? I forget.
It was a huge Buick.
The Buick. That's right. It was the big old Skylark. I think it was a big.
Yeah, it was a tank.
But it had a good system in it. And we're just driving down 33 with the windows open, just blasting the shit out of that soundtrack. And like, that was like easily the movie of the summer for us. Like,
yeah,
it was so much fun, and like, kind of getting to relive that again is just, it's getting the blood going. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We'll go down the list. New Yakuza game, all about that. Yakuza, that's fantastic series. Seriously, people, it's on Game Pass. If you haven't played it, go fucking play it. The remasters are there. It's so good. Let's just see. That 12 minutes, I couldn't figure out what that was, but Willem Dafoe's in it, so why not?
Yeah, so like this game intrigues me because it seems like a kind of a mystery maybe puzzle game, and it's basically it's called 12 minutes, so it's just basically time loop of 12 minutes, and I'm guessing like somehow you're able to either manipulate things or figure things out. Willem Dafoe is one of the VAs in it, voice actors. I think he plays the detective because it's kind of like a murder mystery. So I'm intrigued by it because it's kind of like like you're basically locked in a top down to this one room. So it's like, how does this play out?
Yeah, how does that play out?
Yeah. So eager to see what it is.
I know it's big for the fans of the series. They announced a Psychonauts 2. That's a big one. Fallout 76. I agree. Anytime I see that game pop up, I'm just like, whatever.
Like I can't believe it's still limping along. It's like, are you serious right now? It's like, and more bad. DLCs coming for it. I mean, if you play it, good for you. I'm so burned by it. Like every time it comes up, like really just stop. Just put the game in the grave and leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Yeah. Let's see. Hades is finally coming to Xbox. That is huge news.
You played that? I mean, I still got to get around to doing that. I know it's on Game Pass, but it looks awesome.
Oh no, it's coming too. I don't know if it's on already.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. When is that coming? August 13th.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, seriously, dude, you have to play that when it comes out. Like, that is the best game of last year. Probably one of the best games in the past 5 to 10 years. It's perfection. It's super good. We got a date on Diablo 2 Remaster, which is weird because I thought I heard that was coming out in May. It's now September.
Yeah. So, and again, another surprise. I thought this would be like a Blizzard thing, but they chose to use the Xbox platform to say September 23rd is when we're getting D2 Remaster. Looking forward to it. I will probably be playing it then. It looks fantastic, and again, it's just all those old school vibes again.
Oh, totally. I know my buddy Jim and I in the save point we're already talking about pulling an all-nighter, just like old times. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see, Grounded Shroom and Doom update that actually came out this week. I'm actually tempted to check that out. I don't know if you got a chance to play it when it came out on Game Pass, like months ago now, like early release, but it's come a long way, and it's a very interesting little survival game. It's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival.
And I was watching the Grounded thing. It's like that was pretty clever how they did the Doom part because people do have like legitimate like arachnophobia, even if it's
there is an option to shut it off.
Yeah, and it shuts it off, they become giant mushrooms as the enemy. And I'm like, bravo to that, because like the only other game that I know of that where you can shut off spiders is Satisfactory, and it basically turns it into like a little. Like instead of seeing the spider, you basically see like this JPEG image of a cat running around.
Oh, jeez, that's awesome.
It's the most awkward looking because it's just like a box, running around, basically covering up what would be the spider. It's just like that's clever. But this one, it's not overlaid. It's actually just completely replaces the skin, and it's a giant, death mushroom essentially is what you're fighting instead of a spider. So it's like, I will give them kudos for that because again, some people, I know that it's like they are legit scared of spiders even virtually. So like I'm glad to see some a little bit of care being taken with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, there are some more interesting games. Just for the sake of time, I'll just
Yeah, yeah.
briefly go over some quick highlights. Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to Xbox and Game Pass the end of July with a Top Gun free expansion.
Re-expansion. That
Dude,
looks. No, I don't think it's any weapons. I think because I think they do have military aircraft in already.
yeah, but I don't know. I'm not
But
sure.
it's just flying around. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming
it's
this
been a
Top
long
Gun,
time.
it's going to be similar. It's like looks like you're going to be able to take off from the aircraft carrier. I'm assuming land on it. So it's like,
That'd be sweet.
and it's all, again, like you said, all free. So it's like, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe the movie will finally come out too.
Yeah, if you haven't played Microsoft Flight Simulator because you may not have a computer that can run it, folks.
Mhm.
If you have an Xbox Series X, you've got to grab it. It is revolutionary. It's the only way I can describe it. It's an amazing experience, and it's still one I play once in a while just to like go to random spots in the world and fly around. So that's coming out. Forza Horizon 5
Oh,
looks
this looks
fantastic.
so fantastic! Like, and they were really pushing off their photorealism tech, and yeah, it's seriously
It's unbelievable,
it was
dude.
like, am I looking at a picture? And all of a sudden, it's like it zooms back, and it's like, boom! No, you're in a race, and again, I think it's either kicked off with this or maybe they ended with it. But I'll give them kudos again throughout most of the Microsoft thing, actually, for that matter. Their trailers or whatever, they had actual gameplay. Like Microsoft did it right compared to Ubisoft. He's like, okay, it's like tease us with something, give us actual gameplay.
Oh yeah,
Forza,
Microsoft showed you how to do it
it's like
right.
that was the way to do it. And like I think they did start with like basically dev cameras with they kind of showed the scenery and then they pulled back and all of a sudden they locked on the car and you're watching gameplay. It's like,
It
yes,
was
thank
nuts,
you.
dude. It was nuts. So that looks great. Redfall looked super intriguing. A vampire kind of Left for Dead. I'm definitely keeping my eye on that one.
Yeah,
Oh, and
no
Outer.
gameplay. It was just a trailer, so
Yeah,
it's
just
like
a trailer, nothing
no
big.
more actual of how it works. But it's like, okay, color me intrigued.
And I'd say the final two, kind of before we move on, let me just look and see if. Oh, there is some stuff to talk about, so we'll move very quickly. Age of Empires 4 is coming. Looks great. Looks really good.
Oh yeah.
Outer Worlds 2.
This was hilarious. I like watching the trailer for this again. No gameplay, but in the
Like,
Outer Worlds humor,
yeah, who didn't see this coming?
yeah,
Yo?
it's like what game is this? Like it's all tongue in cheek, and then it pulls back to the moon. It's like, oh, okay, bravo, okay, Obsidian, well done. I'm signing up for Outer Worlds too.
Oh yeah. Let's see. We'll just talk quickly on Square Enix. There's a lot of Marvel stuff, Guardians of the Galaxy. It looked interesting. I wouldn't say it got me like super super excited.
Yeah, like I mean, it looked like if you played Marvel Avengers, it looked like that
Yeah,
same exact
same
thing,
shit.
except Guardians of the Galaxy, skin. So if
Yeah.
you like that, go for it.
Go for it.
I'm probably gonna wait for like a discount or like I don't think any Square Enix shows up on Game Pass, so it's like it'll have to be a deep discount before I pick up something like that.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest what the fuck moment for me was the Final Fantasy Origins or whatever the Final Fantasy 1 remake was. Where it's like the Final Fantasy 15 graphics, but like a retelling of the Final Fantasy 1 story.
Really?
Yeah, remember that one? Like, I hate chaos! Like, you don't remember?
Oh, wait, was that in this one?
Was that this one, or did it come after? It's been a long month.
No, because I think there was something. I think it was Babylon's Fall. I think that's what it was. It was like, it's like I think Babylon's Fall was like, I hate chaos. The chaos.
No. This was. Let me get you the name of it. If you missed this one,
maybe I missed
watch it for the ultimate cheese. Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
Okay.
Well, this was one of the ones. Oh, they revealed in the Square Enix Presents Summer Showcase.
Okay.
It is a new version of the original Final Fantasy, like a retelling of the whole story. And like I had to laugh because like the original Final Fantasy, there are 4 light warriors, each for the corresponding elements. In this one, there are 3, and it's like okay,
you're missing one.
and the trailer is kind of funny. I was just like, all right. I mean, I'll play that story again any day. I was just like, this looks kind of wonky.
But speaking of one, there is now a remaster of Final Fantasy 1 through 6.
Caution on that.
That.
I did see that, but they didn't call it a remaster. They called it like a repixeling or something like that.
Did they?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was one that gave me pause. Because it's like, dude, are they just putting that shit through the Eagle engine that I do in emulators, and they're gonna fucking package it and resell it to me? So I'm keeping a close eye on that one. Granted,
okay.
I will buy it.
A Final Fantasy Pixel remaster with I think Steam's coming soon. So yeah, that was my question going in, because you're talking about the same thing that happened to Final Fantasy VI, where they screwed over the sprites and the menu
and Chrono
system.
Trigger. They totally shit on that.
They did the same thing to that. Is that the same thing that's happening here?
I'm wondering. So I'm keeping. I don't know. Like they just showed clips of each game. It's like
it was so fast, and it's like didn't give a good sense of like it looked the same.
It looked exactly the same.
So I'm hoping that's the case. Like, and I think I'm trying to find it, but I want to say I think I was looking this up because that was my main concern. It's like I hope they don't do what they did to Final Fantasy VI / Chrono Trigger, where they literally did screw with the sprites. They made them like bigger, and they're not the same.
They just butchered it. It was bad.
The menus were broken. It was buggy as all get out. But apparently they are removing that version from Steam, and I think all stores. Like it's basically like that you'll no longer be able to purchase / download after a certain date in preparation for this. So I don't know if they're doing the same treatment or if like what I would like to see is just a plain get it to work. Yeah. Don't mess with anything. Give me the
games again and let me play it on my computer legally. Absolutely. I'm happy with that.
Because it's like basically I played Final Fantasy 1 and 6 / American 3. I haven't played any of the others. I haven't played 2,
and
3, 4.
Good. Oh, they're so good.
And I have the soundtracks from Nobio. So I'm actually looking forward to like, okay, let me see what these are like, I say remastered, but ported over and whatnot, and like let me play them. It's like and they're all together. So it's like it has me excited. So again, as long as they don't mess with it, I'm all on board.
Yep, I'm gonna watch for reviews on day one and then probably buy it as long as it's not a total dumpster fire.
Exactly.
All right, I think I'm just looking over the list because there's so many other good things. We might have to split this into two because there's a lot more I do want to talk about.
Sure, here.
Oh my god, even Nintendo showcase, because I would give Nintendo the second place award. I thought they did very well.
Yeah, they actually came out with a pretty good measure. I wasn't expecting a lot from them, but I probably again because and this is kind of a theme for the entire show. Obviously, recognize that the pandemic set a lot of things back. Like I think as a whole, a lot of the game studios were being very, very conservative. Ubisoft probably being the most. maybe take it back. Maybe Sony because they didn't. They haven't even shown up.
Like, fuck it, we ain't even showing up.
Like, where is Sony in all this? Like, Sony. Obviously Sony left E3. I think 3 years ago now.
Yeah, they may. But they haven't even done their own thing yet.
They haven't done their whatever Sony. I keep calling like the Nintendo Direct equivalent because that's what it is.
Yeah, like Nintendo's got the tree fort. Sony's got like the snow fort or whatever it is.
I don't know what the name is like, but
the igloo.
No announcement of that. Like now, there is supposed to be an E3 program in July. It's like July 22nd, I think. So, which is a little odd because they kind of offset it, but they did intermix enough. I think again, talking about Battlefield. I think a few other EA titles. But,
I'll always jump in on an EA deep dive.
Yeah, but at least they've announced like, hey, we have this thing happening within a relative time frame of the summer. Like Sony is still like just
We've heard nothing.
Bueller.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It'll be interesting to see. So I think what we'll do, and just on what you were saying as far as acknowledging the pandemic, the great Captain Mike from Bad Fighter Figures podcast nailed it. He's like 2021, the year of the game delay, and he said that back in last November. He's like, get ready for it. That's how it's going to be. And he was right. It's going to happen. And it's going to impact a lot of the stuff that's coming out. I will just say before we end, probably one of the ones that filled me like just with complete excitement was Nintendo's surprise of Metroid Dread. That dude, like you can give me a 2D Metroid any day. And it's like, give me it. Just give me it. Take my goddamn money.
It's like, they were talking about 5, but it's like, it's like, give me that 2D.
Give me that 2D
any day. I'm a little bummed because I know it'll be locked to Nintendo, so it's like, I'm gonna have to break down and at least get a Switch or something.
There's some great games on the Switch, brother.
I know. It's like I'll finally break down and do it because like that would be one to makes it like, okay, it's like I gotta get it at least for that. There's plenty of back library to do other stuff. Do like Breath of the Wild. That's I do want to play that. That looked intriguing. So it's like that might be enough to do it.
Oh yeah, dude. Breath of the Wild's fantastic. I just started playing it like a month ago. It's really good. I play that before bed. But all right, folks, we are going to tie up episode 76 here. We are going to talk more E3 next time just because there was a lot of other stuff that I thought is definitely worth highlighting. And obviously any new news that develops between now and a couple weeks, we'll go over that as well as usual. But again, I just want to say a very big thank you to Neil Halford.
Yes, absolutely.
For just thinking of us, bringing on the panel, easily one of the highlights of my summer outside of like vacation with the family and stuff. It was just so much fun to sit, and obviously, any chance chatting with you, Nick, is a great time. But like,
always fun.
Yeah, just getting to hang out and talk with Neil again. I was just like, Neil's like, who's your, 5 of your favorite? What was it, like game designers or something like that, or. No, what was your what was your podcast big get? And he's like, and you can't say me. And I'm like, well, god damn it, Neil. No, seriously, go watch the recording of our panel. It was so much fun. The panelists are all super awesome, super talented. Their shows are great. Like, check them out, listen to their shows, and we hope you enjoy that panel. From that point, again, if you want to hang out and interact with us, we really encourage you to leave a review on iTunes. They really, really help us out. They help get the word out for us. So always encourage you all to do that. And we also encourage you, please give us a call. Call in the voicemail line. It's 610-810-1654. Talk games with us. We're happy to like take your input and what did you like from E3? What did you dislike? What are you most excited about over the next few months? There's a lot of cool stuff coming, and we always talk about what we like, but we'd love to hear what you like. So give the voicemail line a call at 610-810-1654 and tell us what you're looking forward to. Other than that, just gonna give some shout outs. Obviously, big thank you to the fans. You're a big reason we even got considered to go on a panel, so thank you all very much for listening and spreading the word. Our boys over at Bad Fodder Figures, I love you guys. They have also switched to live stream recording, so again, we'll just kind of follow in their footsteps and do what they do. No, I'm only kidding. But we're definitely looking into going to a live format, but you can actually hang out and chill with the Bad Fodder Figures every week on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. They do a great live stream. Mike, Matt, and Eric are just awesome to listen to. They're super funny and just really insightful on the games that they're playing and the stuff that they like, and just they're fun. It's a fun cast to listen to and laugh your ass off. Tap the Craft Brewing podcast. There's still, Danny Luce just has a great show over there. If you're into craft beer, check it out. In general, that will tie up our shout outs. If you want to hang out with us outside of the voicemail line, come on over to the Save Point in Facebook at tiny.cc/SavePoint. And I gotta say, Nick, in the Neil panel, that is the thing that was running through my mind when Steve Garriott was like, I didn't name this right. And I'm like, we should have just fucking called it the RetroRents. But that's alright. The Save Point stuck. We have a big group in there. We love you all. And come join the other Save Pointers at tiny.cc/SavePoint. You can email us, theretrorents@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at theretrorents. I am at RetroRentsAl, and Nick is at BlackEagleOps. And that wraps it up for episode 76. And until next time, as always, folks, have fun, play games, get your shot, and don't be dicks. Peace. See ya. Alright, let's see if he listens, Nick. Let's see if he listens.
You gonna be an asshole, Craig? You gonna be an asshole?
He's been sober the whole
I know, right?
podcast.